Alright, if you're planning to pull for Varesa in Genshin Impact, you're probably wondering, should you go for her C1 or her signature weapon? Both offer significant boosts, but which one truly enhances her gameplay the most? Let's break it down and make sure you make the best decision for your account. But before that, quick reminder, we will be giving away Welkin Moon when we hit 4,000 subscribers, because why not? I want you to have Xylonin or Varesa, so please subscribe and drop your UID and server. First, let's talk about what makes Varesa unique. She's a plunging attack-focused electro-catalyst user with a playstyle that revolves around managing her Nightsoul state. You'll constantly be diving down, unleashing electro damage, and timing your attacks for maximum impact. That means her power comes from a combination of plunging damage, energy efficiency, and survivability. So, how do C1 and her signature weapon help with this? Let's compare. First up, her signature 5-star catalyst, Rainbow's Wish. This weapon is tailor-made for her, boosting CRIT DMG 44.1%, high base ATK 674, and most importantly, plunging attack buffs. Here's the weapon's effect. Increases ATK by 28% when performing a plunging attack. Grants the first light's color effect. Increases CRIT DMG of plunging attacks by 28%. Upon casting an elemental skill or elemental burst, grants the Evening Glow's radiance effect. Increases CRIT DMG of plunging attacks by 40%. Both effects last up to 15 seconds, and are removed 0.05 seconds after plunging attack damage is dealt. In simple terms, plus 28% ATK, plus 28% plunging attack CRIT DMG. After using skill/burst, plus 40% plunging CRIT DMG. This means every single plunge hits harder, which is insanely valuable since her entire kit is plunge-centric. The only catch? It doesn't solve her energy or sustain issues. You'll need external support for that. Now let's talk about C1 Varesa. Her first constellation does two things. Reduces the energy and phlogiston cost of her Nightsoul state by 30%. Her burst now heals her for 16% of her max HP. This is huge because her biggest issue is energy management, especially in long fights. Reducing the cost means more uptime on her strongest state. Plus, the self-healing makes her way more self-sufficient, meaning less reliance on a healer in your team. So, while it doesn't directly increase damage like the weapon, it makes her gameplay way smoother and easier to manage. If we're talking pure damage, the weapon wins easily. It gives a massive CRIT DMG boost and plunging attack buffs that you can't replicate elsewhere. But C1 indirectly boosts damage uptime by letting you stay in Nightsoul mode longer, while also keeping her alive. A dead DPS does 0 damage, after all. So, in longer fights, C1 might actually help sustain her DPS better than the weapon. For F2P or low spenders, C1 is the smarter choice. Why? If you already have a decent crit catalyst like the Widsith, you can get similar results without spending for the 5-star weapon. Another thing to consider, C1 improves her self-sufficiency, making her easier to build into teams without worrying too much about energy. Meanwhile, the weapon forces you to build around crit DMG and ATK to take full advantage. If you already have energy support like Raiden or Fiscal, the weapon shines more. But if you want a more independent playstyle, C1 is a safer investment. So what should you pull for? Want maximum burst damage? Go for the signature weapon. Want better uptime and survivability? C1 is better for long-term consistency. F2P or budget players? C1 is the safer long-term value choice. At the end of the day, both are great, but C1 gives overall smoother gameplay, while her weapon is pure raw damage. So, choose what fits your playstyle and account needs the best. That's my breakdown of Varesa's C1 versus her signature weapon. What are you pulling for? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Oh, and if you made it this far, I'm giving away a Welkin Moon when we hit 4,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video. See you next time, travelers.